So let's talk about chilaquiles. You might think you know this dish. I mean, it's chips and salsa, right? Well, yes and no. As we're about to find out, this dish is a whole world of incredible texture, flavor, and tradition, all packed onto one amazing plate.
Okay, right off the bat, let's get one thing straight. This is absolutely not breakfast nachos. The huge difference is that with chilaquiles, the chips aren't just a vehicle for the toppings. Nope. They are a core part of the dish itself, totally bathed and softened in warm salsa.
So, what are we really talking about here? Well, the official definition is pretty simple. Chilaquiles are a traditional Mexican dish. You take some fried tortilla pieces called totopes, and then you either simmer them in or top them with salsa and finish the whole thing off with all kinds of garnishes. That's our starting point.
And here's the game plan for today. We're going to break this classic down. We'll start with what I call the chilaquiles question. Then we'll look at the anatomy, the chips, the salsa, the toppings, and of course, how it all comes together in its final form. So, what exactly is the chilaquiles question? Really, it's about figuring out what makes this dish so personal and just endlessly customizable. We're going to deconstruct it, looking at each piece one by one.
Let's start right at the bottom with the foundation. Everything, and I mean everything, begins with the chip itself, the totopo. But how that chip is treated is where the first huge debate kicks off, and it's all about texture. This right here is the first major choice you have to make. Are you on Team Crispy, where that salsa gets poured over fresh chips at the very last second so you get that maximum crunch? Or are you on Team Soft, where the chips are actually simmered in the salsa until they get all tender and just soak up every bit of that flavor?
So, what do you think? What's your gut feeling? Do you live for that crunch, or are you all about that soft, comforting, flavor soaked texture? There's no wrong answer here, but your choice really does change the entire experience. All right, so you've got your texture figured out. Now it's time to add the soul of the dish. This is the part that truly gives chilaquiles its character, the salsa.
And this, my friends, brings us to the most iconic showdown in the world of chilaquiles. On the left, you've got that deep, rich color of a salsa roja. And on the right, that bright, zesty look of a salsa verde.
But hey, this is about so much more than just color. We're talking about a huge difference in taste. Red salsas, which are often made with roasted red tomatoes and different chilies, they tend to have this smoky, earthy, almost deep flavor. Green salsas, on the other hand, are made with tomatillos, and they're usually brighter, a lot tangier, and often have this sharper, more acidic kick to them.
So there it is, the classic question, red or green. It's a choice between deep and smoky or bright and tangy. And hey, if you just can't decide, some places will let you get both. It's an option called divorciados. So which side are you on? Okay, we have our foundation of chips, we have our soul of salsa. Now it's time for the glorious finish, the crown. The toppings are where you really get to let your personality shine. And what a universe of toppings it is. You've got the essentials, like crumbly queso fresco, that cooling crema, sharp sliced onion. But then you can add things like creamy avocado, savory grilled meat, or even the crisp bite of radishes and spicy jalapenos. The list goes on and on. For example, you could go the fresh route, and this plate nails it, with those beautiful slices of avocado adding creaminess and the charred jalapenos bringing a welcome kick of heat. Or maybe you're looking for something a bit more substantial. Adding some char-grilled meat like you see here, well, that transforms chilaquiles from a breakfast dish into a seriously hearty lunch or dinner. Plus, it adds this amazing smoky flavor. Then again, sometimes less is more. This is the classic, stripped-down version. Just the chips, the salsa, and that simple, perfect combination of crumbled cheese, cream, and a little bit of onion. It's so elegant, and it really lets the salsa be the star of the show. So, we've built our perfect plate, layer by delicious layer. But there's one last piece of the puzzle to consider, the final form. How this dish is plated and presented can totally change the entire experience. On one hand, you have the rustic, super traditional molcajete. That's a volcanic stone bowl. And on the other, you've got the clean, modern plate. We're talking two very different vibes for the exact same dish. See, the molcajete isn't just for looks. That volcanic stone is often heated up, so it keeps the chilaquiles sizzling hot and lets all the flavors meld together right there at your table.
A plate, though, offers a more composed, almost architectural presentation where every element can be placed just right.
So when you boil it all down, it comes down to a really simple 4-step formula. First, choose your texture, crispy or soft. Second, pick your salsa, red or green. Third, select that crown of toppings. And finally, decide on how you want to present it. And that really brings us to the most important takeaway of all. Chilaquiles aren't just a single recipe. They are a culinary canvas. They're a framework for you to build your own perfect meal on, every single time. And when you bring all those amazing elements together, you can create something as beautifully complex as this. I mean, look at that. You can see the rustic molcajete, a rich red salsa, different kinds of meat, pico de gallo, radish. It's a total masterpiece built from all the choices we just talked about. Which leaves us with just one last question. Now that you know the anatomy, now that you have the formula, what does your perfect plate of chilaquiles look like? Is it soft or crispy, red or green, simple and classic, or totally loaded up? It's all up to you.